We are your election headquarters. Now, scores of frustrated first-time voters are urging the Electoral Commission to once again extend the limited voter registration deadline. Now, despite the additional 2 days added to the original 21-day period, there were long queues at registration centers across the country as first-time voters rushed to get their names captured on the voters' roll. There's more in this report.
Long winding queues characterized the final day of the voter registration process at many centers as first-time voters rushed to get their names captured in the voters' register. In the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, officials reported registering over 5,000 voters over the entire registration period.
Over here in Legon has been largely successful. The turnout has been good, and then we've been able to register almost everybody that has come to us. So today being the last day, we hope that we'll register everybody and leave. We know that we can do that day. For the projection, I can't give it to you online, but for now we've done about 5,000. Yeah, yes. But most of them, since the first day, the turnout has been great. So mostly when they come and the place is full, they don't want to sit in the queue, they would go.
Just nearby at the La Nkwantenan Medina Constituency Registration Center, there were altercations involving some men who brought in senior high school students for registration. Despite these challenges, the EC official stated that the exercise had been largely successful, promising every person in the queue before the official time of closing will be registered even if it goes beyond past 6 p.m.
It's been a fruitful exercise. It's been very quiet and calm. A few altercations here and there, but it's not something that's disturbed the flow of work here at the center. We are within our expected figure. We were hoping to do a little over 4,000, and we have a little after 12 midday, but I can say that we'll be able to attend to them before 6 p.m. when the center will be closed finally.
Many potential first-time voters at the University of Ghana Center said they had to forgo lectures to register. Similarly, senior high school students reported skipping classes to enroll on the voters' register.
I knew that, I had to come and register today because today was actually the deadline. But I would, urge that the EC at least extend the deadline again, because there are more people out there that haven't registered, especially looking at the diaspora. There are even more people there that do not even know that there is an ongoing process at Legon Hall. So I think that good sensitization would do so that these people can actually come and register.
So I was aware of the 21 days, but then I've had a busy schedule being in between classes and such. So today is the day that I'm free that I'll be able to come and partake in the registration for the voters ID.
Because of the school, I'm a boarder, so I was not that allowed to be coming out, and I didn't know any place to do my voters ID. That's the main reason why. I'll wait for the next time.
Meanwhile, MP for Ayawaso West Wogon, Lydia Al-Hassan, and Medina MP Francis Xavier Sosu appealed to the EC to make special provisions for first-time voters who might miss the deadline.
From day one, it's been peaceful, it's been orderly. Yes, we all know what happened the first, second day, but after that, we have had quite a successful process. It's just that the numbers here are many. We are talking about a student population of over 40,000. Most of them are first-time voters. Look at the last day, look at the numbers, and it's been like this from day one. Some sort of a different arrangement is made for us. We have a population of over 40,000, so for me, that is my concern.
Here in Medina, things have been relatively smooth, so we have a few challenges. But as of yesterday, we had a total of about 3,692 that has registered. Today, you can see the numbers. The day is far gone, but the numbers are still increasing, and most of them are students and first-time voters. So we are in talks with the officials of the EC that even if the day ends without them getting the opportunity, whether we either give them some number or we extend the number of hours, they'll be able to stay so we can get everyone here registered before the day is over.
These potential voters are hopeful of exercising their constitutional right in the 2024 general elections and making a difference as they defied the hot sun, stayed in queues, all in a bid to get their identity captured on the National Voters Roll. Rejoice Semefakpesu's report, read to you.
Now, let's bring in the Deputy General Secretary of the Opposition NDC, Mustapha Gbande, and we also have the Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party to share their views about how the EC has conducted themselves so far as the registration process has come to an end. I'll start with you, Haruna Mohammed. Thank you so much for your time here on Newsdesk. What's your assessment of the Electoral Commission's handling of the voter registration process this year?
I think that we as a party, even though there has been some hitches in this particular exercise, we are very much concerned with the entire process with this particular registration. We have heard several views from the Ghanaian youth who think that they should have been given more opportunity in this particular exercise. Lo and behold, certain things needed to have been done right by the Electoral Commission. If you look at the recruitment of the staff who were to do the registration, there were certain laws that timelines that they had to follow, but this was not very successful, as we all thought, because we needed to cross-check the background of these people. Again, look at the registration centers, where the centers are located. It's supposed to have been gazetted earlier for us to be able to ascertain and make much more education in terms of these particular centers. The Electoral Commission and the NCC also needed to have made several promotional activities to be able to draw the attention of people who have attained the age of 18 to be able to get themselves registered as the Constitution has demanded. This was not also clearly set out, and as a party, we demand that the Electoral Commission stay true to the constitutional provisions of this particular exercise. Again, if you look at the number of people who are left now, we want to urge the Electoral Commission to look at it and ascertain these particular numbers, if there can be something that can be done within a reasonable time to get these people registered. The appeals process within the system, we trust this particular process, but we also call on the Electoral Commission to ensure that there has been fairness that is meted out to all parties and people who have been challenged in this particular process. Lo and behold, in a conclude assessment of this particular exercise, I believe that it has so much been very peaceful in terms of the numbers that we are seeing, in terms of transparency. We in the NPP, we trust the process, and we also want to commend the Electoral Commission, despite the fact that we have raised a number of issues in terms of publicity, publication, in terms of the usage of machines, the stoppage, and then efficiency and efficacy of these machines. We only hope that these data will be compiled and make available to political parties in a reasonable time to assess these particular data and compare with the source data that we took from end of day reports and the beginning of day report to be able to verify and go out there to ensure that this data can truly represent what has been taken from the field.
As a party, you've been actively engaged in helping some of these people register on the voters' roll. You have been touching base with your executives across the country. The people you aided, have they been able to register?
Basically, if you look at the provisions in the CI 126 and CI 91, the parties obviously are in an assistant mood when you are bringing out people to register. It is not mandatory. It is not something that is grounded in law, but we assist people to come out to register. By virtue of what we do is because we need numbers to vote for us. We need people to appreciate the good works of our parties. So we assist people to come out to register. And in that instance, we also incur costs. So this is something we did to support the registration exercise and also to uplift the image of our political parties. We can't get everybody on board. If the Electoral Commission continue the registration exercise over and over, definitely many people still will not go out to register. You know, the law says the Electoral Commission should provide the opportunity for them to register. But it is not compulsory that when the opportunity is provided to you, you should go and register. But this is something that we can all interrogate as time goes on. But we can obviously get everybody to register. But we must get a reasonable number to register. And we are very much satisfied with the kind of mobilization and the people who have come out to register. But as Oliver Twist, we still ask for more if opportunities provided for many other Ghanaians who have attained the age of 18 and other people who have not gotten the time to be able to register to be given the opportunity. And that is why we support the continuous registration process. If the law is passed, if the CI is laid and it is passed and there's a continuous registration, those who have attained the age of 18 and have their Ghana cards can simply walk to the Electoral Commission's office and get their cards and to be able to make decisions for this country.
So you agree with calls that the 2-day extension wasn't sufficient?
I cannot at this moment assess whether it was sufficient or not. Data has to support my decision to say so. However, in terms of our human nature, I would have wished for it to continue, but I am not also in the budget line of the Electoral Commission to ascertain why there has been a limited extension period. However, in the limited 2 days period, some people have gotten the opportunity to register, which would have ended on the 27th of May. So for me, I would have asked for more, but I am not in the budget line of the Electoral Commission because any extension goes with budget, and I cannot determine for them. And if they so wish that they can be able to support a further extension, I think that we welcome that. If they are not, but we should be able to sit down to analyze and put this data into an informative stage that can be able to provide concrete data for political parties to be able to rely on going into 2024 general elections.
There were pockets of violence at some registration centers. There were also calls by individuals who felt that the EC failed to handle some of these processes rightly. What's the stance of the NPP? What's your assessment of how the EC has handled the registration process so far?
In terms of the violent situations, you know, my good brother in the NDC, that is Mustafa Gbande, on your own program, when you were launching all your programs that we went to Greater Accra, the Metropolitan Assembly area, you know, he made a statement that when the NDC people are going to polling centers, they should go there with machetes and cutlasses. They should go there and destabilize the peace of the place. So eventually when the registration started and they went there with machetes, they went there with guns, and they destabilized the place, it connoted and went directly to represent what my brother has said. You know, I had condemned this particular statement in several instances. We are the only political party that has not come through a revolutionary practice. We have never staged a coup in this country, and we have never practiced violence in terms of political activities in this country. We are the first political party to disband vigilantism, and we are the first government to pass a vigilantism act. So it tells you that the NPP would not in any manner condone violence in this country. We would not in any manner promote violence in this country because it's not part of our training. So if there is violence in any of the registration centers, I believe that we must put that blame strictly onto the NDC because they call for violence. They said we should go with machetes, we should go with guns, we should destabilize the peace. And that is very undemocratic in this country, and we must all condemn that.
Haruna, stay with me. Thankfully, I have the Deputy General Secretary for the NDC, Mustafa Gbande, join us here on NewsDesk. Many thanks for your time here. Now, what's your assessment of the Electoral Commission handling of the voter registration process so far?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to our cherished listeners. First of all, let me, on behalf of the General Secretary of my party, thank the teeming Ghanaians who have queued in spite of all the challenges, having to wait, spend their productive hours in queues to be able to register and to vote. The NDC believe that there will be a change in 2024, and that change must occasioned as a result of a constitutionally, defined measure with a custom.
Mustafa Gbande, unfortunately, we're losing
Can you
you.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
We believe that the only way to restore hope for this country is through a vote, and we only expect that the Electoral Commission will allow a vote in 2024 to represent the will and mandate of the people. Apart from that, I think that generally we also commend some district officers who have been very professional of the Electoral Commission in terms of how they have conducted themselves. Police officers have also done so well in terms of how they have monitored the exercise. We've had pockets of things to disagree with, but let's proceed with what is positive. I believe that clearly the Electoral Commission has a mandate under law to ensure that registration is accessible to all Ghanaians. It hasn't done so. The registration process is very cumbersome, it's very unincentivizing to the ordinary Ghanaian, and so that is why today we have a lot of people in the queue who have not been able to register. Having said so, I believe that in subsequent activities, the Electoral Commission should not shirk its responsibility to political parties. If political parties become the people or the agents who should be facilitating ordinary Ghanaians in order to register, we will destabilize our democracy, because that is not what the Constitution contemplates. The Constitution solely leaves that responsibility in the hands of the Commission, with a responsibility from central government to provide logistics. So if we have an unincentivizing registration exercise, the responsibility rests on the Electoral Commission and the government in power, which is His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, who we believe, with his political party, is doing everything possible to disenfranchise a lot of people from registering. Because we are of the political theory that the more people register, because of the hardship and the disenchantment against government, the higher the margin of defeat against the government. And so they will do everything possible to ensure that minimal number of people register, which is what we have seen on the ground. Beyond that, there have been a pocket of violence, which I know you will ask. Of course, yes, there have been a pocket of violence. That is before the police. I believe that the police will speak to which individuals were responsible for this violence. We in the NDC only did what it takes to defend the process, the credibility of the process, ensure that the process is not subverted, ensure that minors are not registered, ensure that foreigners are not brought in to come and register. That is what we did. And we have told the NPP that there is no way we would allow them under this sun to perpetrate any illegality in this exercise. And we have said them, we are going to just start transfer, which is one of their rigging indicators, to transfer people from constituencies to other constituencies for the sake of maneuvering data. We are going to be up and strong and vigilant to ensure that if you are not qualified to transfer your vote, you will not transfer your votes. It is simplicity. The NPP can go and bend the sea. We will ensure that the right thing is done. That I can assure them. But his renditions as to me calling for violence and all of that, I don't have time to waste on the NPP. They are suffocating all of us with scandals and all of that. I'm tired this morning reading other scandals, so I'm not going to waste time with my brother talking about violence and all of that. I think that we must progress and commend the Electoral Commission for at least, taking us through the exercise. Apart from the fact that we know there are hidden elements at the headquarters of the the National Electoral Commission, who are under coaching by government and the NPP to rig the election. We are vigilant on them and their activities, but we are not scared. We will ensure that the process goes smoothly because we are actors and stakeholders of the process, so we know what to do.
Mustafa Gbande, there's been concerns about the registration process. Do the NDC also feel it should be extended? We,
at this point, the Electoral Commission, I indicated that the NPP will not call for extension because it plays into their game plan. We have made these calls from the day one. You remember we had this conversation where I told you that ideally registration should at least be decentralized to electoral areas in the minimum, in the list of it, so that people can register. The Electoral Commission disregarded it. We have said that, okay, then increase the number of registration centers. Electoral Commission did so, but not sufficient enough. Even places where we have agreed on hard-to-reach areas, the Electoral Commission eschewed those hard-to-reach centers to the advantage of the NPP. But even that, because they have lost popularity on the ground, it was not properly utilized. Now, the mandate, the Constitution directs the Electoral Commission to make registration accessible to all Ghanaians. And we have said that the manner in which the current registration is being done is unincentivizing, unmotivating, it is discouraging and cumbersome for the ordinary Ghanaian. So we know that. Number two, if you look at even Electoral Commission's own systems, the way it was not functioning, network problems, without a blemish from the ordinary Ghanaian, having to waste time spending in queues. Nobody should tell the Commission to do good by Ghanaians to extend more time for us to register. But I've stated that it is not all the places that we still have these queues, particularly in peri-urban areas, constituencies where we have a lot of settlements. You will see that the numbers are obviously very high, still in the queues before the close of day. It is prudent that the Electoral Commission would have done something about it, but Jane Mensah doesn't listen. He only listens to President Akufo-Addo and his people. Meanwhile, we appreciate the numbers that we have had. We know that even if it is 10 people who have registered, 8 of them will vote for the NDC because they will vote on the basis of hardship, on the basis of getting hope, on the basis of the fact that they want to restore the sinking nation that we have under the NPP and President Akufo-Addo. So we are not perturbed at all. We will not call for that. The Electoral Commission knows what to do. We are focused on registration and preparation, on transfer and proxy, which is where the NPP want to play their games. We are vigilant and we have told our party people not to sleep and ensure that anyone that is not qualified to transfer their vote is prevented from doing so. That we will ensure that we do.
Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We also had Haruna Mohammed, who is the Deputy General Secretary for the NPP. Let's do something.